Hi, this is Cecilia from Don't Drool on the Wool, and today I'm going to be doing a yarn review for you guys from a yarn that is made in the USA. It's made in Virginia. It's called Cestari. I was first introduced to Cestari because I found some at the local Beverly's, and there's not a lot of wool at Beverly's, and it's mostly, acrylic and acrylic blends, mostly acrylic though. And there was a big bin full of this wool, and it's not the softest thing in the world, but it is wool, so I was like, ooh, that looks nice, but it was really expensive. It was like $14 for a skein of worsted weight, $12 for worsted, and the $14 one said it's merino. It didn't feel anything like squishy soft merino that I was used to, so I didn't end up buying it. But I did end up finding some on eBay for much cheaper. This sock yarn that I'm reviewing today, 2-ply sock yarn, I found retailing for $7 a ball or a skein over on, I think it was from Cestari's website actually, so $7. So each ball only gives you 193 yards. So to make a pair of socks, which this is marketed as sock yarn, you need to spend $14. Now, at that price, I would never do that. Again, with the stuff I found at Beverly's, that was too pricey for the quality of wool, I felt. And I feel the same way with this stuff because, especially now that I've tried it, I have some example yarn here to show you if it stops being in a tangled mess. Okay. So let's check it out. It's kind of, you can really kind of see, it's kind of loosely plied, and it's got a little bit of fuzz coming around the edges, and let's see, it's 2-ply, let's see, 2-ply, and it's not very elastic. In fact, you want to see something? Like, it just rips right off, which I found that out in actually a really horrible way. I was casting on for a sock. It says the suggested needle size is a 3, so I cast on with 2s. I love using 2s for socks, and it was too loose, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna frog this. I start frogging, and it just ripped, and I was like, oh, well, that's a kind of quality issue right there. So yeah, it easily rips. But before I go into my hates and greats with this yarn, I'm going to go ahead and read off the statistics that I pulled right off from Ravelry, in case you're too lazy to do it. So it says, Cestari 2-ply sock yarn. It calls it a sport weight, and it also says it's 5-ply, which I clearly just proved to you that it's a 2-ply, and I don't know why they would suggest it's a sport weight. And then go on to say use a size 0. I don't understand, but that's what Ravelry says. Don't believe it. It's 193 yards per ball, 57 grams, 28 stitches to 4 inches. It's 100% wool. So there's its statistics. So I bought this stuff with the intention of making a sweater. I didn't, I wanted to do like a Fair Isle. I got a couple colors, so I wanted to get maybe like a yoked sweater or something like that, and I wanted something thin because I live in California and it's really hot, and so having a thick, doubled up sweater is retarded. So that's what I was going to do with it. And then I ended up not casting on with it for a while. And so I ended up deciding to make a pair of socks for my boyfriend. And those are the socks. I cast on with 2s originally, and then I went down to size 0. Because the 2s were too loose and stuff. So I knitted the socks on the size 0s. They took a very long time just because 0s are so tiny, and because I hated working on them because it didn't feel like any progress was ever happening. And then I gave them to him in, I think, late July, and so now it's September, and he's been wearing them, and he washes them by hand, and they've changed. And I'm gonna show you a sock, and it's, just don't laugh at it, okay, because it's really, okay, you can laugh because look at it. It's like a monster sock, and he's not a monster. I'm not, like, it's like the size of my face. Oh my god. I didn't know that. These are clean, by the way. I promise. I'm not putting my boyfriend's dirty foot sacks on me. They really are foot sacks. That's what they are right here. When I started knitting, my best friend, she said, knit me some socks. And I was like, dude, socks are way too hard. There's no way I'm gonna be able to knit you socks. She said, just knit me foot sacks then. I never did, but you know what? These are foot sacks. I've finally accomplished the foot sack. So yeah, they're monstrous, as you can see. He does not have monstrous calves either. It's not his legs that did this. He has skinny calves. When he first tried them on, that was the first thing he said is, oh, you could have made them tighter around the calf. Yeah, I really could have. I could have knocked off about 16 stitches, maybe more. I don't know. But they did look normal originally when I gave them to him. They were normal, and they've just really stretched out, which just has to be the yarn. They've stretched out a lot. They've felted quite a bit, and of course there's holes here too at the heel. I don't know if you can tell that it's felted. Maybe not, but it is felted. So there's the socks. They're monstrous and kind of depressing to think about. So I'm gonna go ahead and suggest that y'all don't knit socks with this yarn just because of that incident that happened. But if you do knit socks, I would definitely suggest threading some nylon in with the yarn, especially at the heel and maybe also at the cuff, just in case bad things happen. I don't know. I did work on a couple different projects with this yarn. I'll show you my adorable little lamb cuffs. Yes, I have to put them on because they're so cute. So these guys I did with Cestari. The white actually is fisherman's wool, but most everything else is Cestari. And these guys, obviously, they're not socks, so they're not going through as much movement, felting, friction as the socks are. And I've only had them for like a week or two, but I've been wearing them constantly, I swear. And they have been washed. And they are pretty much perfect, like as far as they were itchy originally. The yarn is kind of itchy. Like when you first grab it, you're like, oh, it's not like certain yarn, you'll touch it and be like, ooh, that's deliciously soft, or like butter or something like that. No, it's not as, I don't want to get into like a yarn war here, but like I think Noro is itchy, and it's not as itchy as Noro feels to me, like at first touch. But it's not real soft either. So when I first knitted it up and I put them on, I was like, ew, these are kind of itchy actually, which is too bad because they're so cute and I want to wear them every day. And I blocked them and thought, well, I wonder what will happen. Maybe they'll soften up. And they certainly did. They softened up quite a bit. There is still vegetable matter in them, which as you're knitting with this yarn, you will find there's some right here. Can I pick it off? There we go. Little pieces. Why can't I show you? Yeah, you can probably see it. Whatever. Little pieces of vegetable matter in here, which is to be expected. I mean, this yarn fleece comes off a sheep and they spend all their time in the, dirt and stuff, but yeah, there is quite a bit, and there's still some in. I've been doing a lot of picking off of these things, but there's still some in there. So I would suppose it's probably best to get the vegetable matter out while you're knitting with it, but I found that I didn't notice it while I was knitting with it. I didn't notice it until it was already in the fabric and I was working and I could feel it with like maybe my pinky or maybe see it at the corner. So I don't know, I've just been picking it out and it's fine. What else? Oh, I did an experiment with dyeing. I didn't do an experiment with felting because these are plenty experience, I guess. I mean, they felted, so it felts, don't worry. I am gonna do one other project with these guys that, not these guys, I mean more with the yarn, that does involve felting. And if you follow my blog, you'll probably see those guys coming up. I call them guys because they're gnomes. They're little DPN holders by Tiny Owl Knits, which I'm obsessed with. So here is the yarn. You'll see right away. You're probably like, dude, that's not the right yarn. You didn't dye it. That doesn't look dyed at all. Well, that's because I'm kind of not very smart. And original color, new color. Yeah, I'd never dyed with tea before, and I just used Lipton tea and dyed it, and then was like, huh, that didn't really work. And then I dyed some white yarn with the tea to see what color it comes out as, and it turns out it's actually about this color, maybe a little bit lighter even. Like maybe it's like my skin tone, basically. I dyed the yarn and it was the color of my skin, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna knit anything that's the color of my skin, so I over-dyed that too anyways. So yeah, tangent. So yeah, I shouldn't have chosen that color. I should have done something like with vinegar and like purple or something, but I decided not to do a second experiment because it's kind of... Okay, because I don't know if you can tell, but it kind of felted in the process of dyeing the first time, which basically all I did was heat up the water, put in the tea, take out the tea, put this in for like 20 minutes maybe, or something, and it felted and the quality went down, so, which is interesting because it also softened up, the same as these guys. Like if this was already knitted up and I had done that, it would have been really nice, but yeah, so I don't think I'm going to be doing any more dyeing experiments with this yarn. Frankly, I was afraid it was going to felt together in a skein, which would have been really unattractive, so let's see, I did the dyeing experiment. What else? It's inelastic. I think I said that because it rips. Oh, overall look of the yarn. Okay. Well, this is with a size 2 needle, and so was this, but this was stockinette. But this is with a size... Oh, I'm kidding. This is with a size 4 needle. That's why it looks so different. Okay, this is a size 4 needle. And you can see that it's really loose. Like, not loose on me, but it's loosely knit. And the stitch pattern is what I really want to show you. The stitch pattern with this yarn, this is the Vanilla Frappe gloves from Yarn Needles and Coffee, I think it is. You should go check out her blog. She lives somewhere awesome. But I'm not a fan of this yarn with the stitch pattern. I like it a lot better with the stockinette, like in these and even in the socks before they were ginormified. Because especially with the eyelets, with the little holes, it makes it look like the yarn is more ratty than it already is. So if you go check out the blog and look at her pattern, you'll see that she uses a white yarn that's kind of nice. You know, it's not like, it's kind of like more glimmer. You know how like Karen Simply Soft has like that sheen to it? Sheen, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, it has like a sheen, and this definitely no sheen. All the colors it comes in brown, black, blue, pink, gray, probably white. All the colors are very natural colors. You know, they're kind of subdued and sort of a not bright colors. You know, even I have a bright red and it's not even bright. So yeah, it kind of doesn't have that sheen going on, and I'm not really the biggest fan of it, this yarn. Again, I've said it before in other yarn reviews that I'll buy any yarn, and I love all yarn no matter what. So I'm not bashing on you, yarn. I love you, but it is just not my favorite. It's not very soft, and it does have that quality rippage issue that it bothers me a lot. Like with these right here, this was basically just a rectangle, and then you seam up the side, leave a hole for your thumb, and then seam up the top. Well, I use mattress stitch, and as I do mattress stitch, I do a couple stitches and it's pretty loose, and then I tug, and then I do a couple more and it's loose, and then I tug, and that doesn't work with this yarn. Same thing with the darning on the toes of these socks. Same thing. So, yes, I think that is the entirety of my yarn review for this yarn. I wouldn't buy it at full price, ever. So, hopefully that's helped someone if they're thinking about buying it. If not, well, I hope at least my giant socks amused you. So, thank you for watching, and you can be my friend on Ravelry. My name is grandmastatus, and you can follow my blog, don'tdroolonthewool.blogspot.com. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.